anybody pops on or not. Been a while since I've done a YouTube live, so too cold to do an Instagram live. Freaking cold. So we'll see how it goes. Getting that time of the year where I don't like to smoke in the house, but it's too cold or it's too wet outside. Hey Patrick, good evening. Saw your photos from the pipe meetup in New York. I didn't see Peter in there this time though. He may have been busy doing something else. I see Peter in your meetups time to time. I am tired. Yeah, Peter's cool, but have very interesting sense of humor and the quite an interesting life. You know, I'm sure you heard his story about the what was the club back in the '70s where all the movie stars or rock stars and stuff hung out. He had an interesting story about that. You know, I guess he felt like he was obliged to pay for the limo one day. You know, back and then they didn't go on a credit card or whatever. They sent you a bill. It was like several $1,000s for the limo ride. What was it? Club 54, Club 52, something like that. I forget the name of it. That's a East Coast thing, not so much a West Coast. Peter has a lot of interesting stories. The club where this is the club the two brothers owned it, and they were literally getting into the cocaine and carrying out garbage bags of money. They did a whole movie on it. That was the club he used to go to. God, I forget the name of the club. It's a number. 52, Club 52, Club 54, something like that. You have to keep checking, although I don't know why, maybe it's Instagram habit, because the chat on Instagram doesn't always scroll, and sometimes somebody says a word, and like last night got shut down, had to restart, no warning, no timeout, no nothing. So so it looks like we have 3 people. I don't know if it's gonna show me who's in, but or not. No, unlike Instagram, I can't see who's in the chat. unless they comment. It's getting dark so early, I can't do anything. Feels like it's 11 o'clock because it's dark, and I look at my watch, it's 8 or 9. I'm like, Jesus, what am I going to do? Have an indoor shop here, but don't like to use that. Drill press is there. I mean, it's a little small for what I would like to do, so I'm probably going to buy another drill press, but and put it down on the shop. But there is a drill press here I can get by with in the meantime, and no air compressor. Another thing I'm going to have to buy, but I've been hemorrhaging money for a year up here, so part of that money I hemorrhage is what you all helped me to get up here. So, I sold the trailer back in 4 or 5 months after I got up here. A neighbor bought it, and so that allowed me to buy some more tooling. I ended up having to buy a new wood lathe too because the wood lathe started smoking in a wooden shop on a wooden bench, so I unplugged it and threw it on the concrete floor. But so I've got a new wood lathe. I've got a 26-inch bed extension here, so I can keep doing the canes. Just I'm getting old man shit. Knees are starting to hurt walking down the hill. Shoulder the other day felt like somebody stuck an ice pick in me, so still doing it, just doing it a lot slower. And if they give me 100% P&T disability, I can only make so much money, so figure something out. I still like putting pipes in people's hands, canes in people's hands, or whatever else they come up with. Metal lathe is a total disappointment. $1,800, and it can't do boring or parting operations on metal. Acrylic, ebonite wood, no problem, but yeah, I can still turn it in for a refund, but still serves a purpose right now. So chalk it up to experience. No more Chinese produced equipment. So I'm ranting. If you're in the chat and want to say something, feel free. Agree, disagree. That's my only rule, is that you remain respectful to everybody else in the chat. If you disrespect me, one of the moderators will probably kick you out. If you're a troll or a bot, you'll get kicked out. But nothing is verboten, so to speak. Everything's open topic. Talk about anything you want. That's how we learn from each other. It's how we learned that your ideas or my ideas are wrong. It's from other people that know. So, or how we learned what we served for, or what we was total bullshit. So add a Q&A sticker. Best part of today. Try it. Okay. Yeah. Well, that as soon as I was gonna say okay, fuck it, we'll try it. It disappeared. Won't be a terribly long one tonight. Not like the marathon ones because now that AI is involved, can't even say the common word for saltine cracker without getting shut down or you even ingest. Even if I said that talking about myself, I would be shut down. Yeah, I'm plugged into a big, huge power supply that my brother sent me a couple years ago with the solar panels. Just wanted to make sure it was on because the phone sits right in front of it. It was good to see Everett doing the lives. He's not so keen on Instagram anymore, but good seeing him doing the lives again. Everett's a good guy. Yeah, my utilities here are under $200. Utilities and trash, but getting the winter time, I have to turn the heater on for a while. So, and the lights are on because it's darker longer. So, yeah, I'm gonna be pushing $300 plus pretty soon. This month would surprise me, maybe two something. Next month definitely gonna be 300 something. But it's what it is. You working right now, Patrick? Or you just hanging out? Or are you hanging out while you're working? No, I went to drop to 2 and then it kicked up to 6. So I don't know if Patrick's still here or not. Hey, Twitch Lucas, welcome. You're a moderator. No, you're not a moderator, but you're number 2 because you're the only other person that's commented here so far. Hey, Rick, Lauren. Hey, Yusuf. Good morning, sir. How you doing, Yusuf? I've caught part of your videos. I've been busy, but when I have time, take a break, regroup. Say pain isn't gonna do it to me today. I watch your videos. Haven't been able to watch them all the way through, but I've caught. I've been able to scroll through and catch the key comments, the commentary, if you will. Your latest post, I haven't been able to watch that yet. I will. Do you follow Cane Rod Pipes on YouTube, Yusuf? I think I saw you in the chat. I can't recall. Geriatrics. Yeah. So I was supposed to do a live with Cane Rod this month, but as you know, his brother passed, so he shot me a message. He's probably going to hold off. Well, I know he's going to hold off the interviews until January. And a few people you may not be familiar with. One's fairly new. The other one I've known for a long time. He's a California to Oregon immigrant as well as I. He moved a year before me. But it's Paul's Pipes, and so there'll be, at some point will be an interview with him and Spitaletty. Great, great guy. I love these guys that are jewelers and go into pipe making or whatever, make canes, whatever, because I like to see that jeweler's mentality contrast between materials put in. Or I'm not a jeweler, but I have a machinist background, I should say. So I like to see that contrast in materials and fit and fitment design. Yeah, yeah. Mike shot me a message and told me, I said, hey, don't, no problem at all. I said, you need a break. You need some time to heal. So, and Yusuf, you know this, but I lost so many people. Started with my mom just before COVID, and things like 7 or 8 friends and relatives since just before COVID. 2 weeks after my mom passed, John passed, and we had just spoken, and so I totally get it. And I, the only ones that are left outside of our children are my children and my brother's sons, my nephews. It's just me and my brother. And I told Mike I don't know how I would deal, with all this I've lost in the last few years, how I would deal with the loss of a brother. But I told him, I said, just keep in mind your brother was perfect by God's design, and he's with his Lord now. So I hope that brings you comfort. And maybe I'm saying too much here, but I don't think Mike would disagree with me for stating that. So otherwise, I wouldn't say it. I've said for years, you would go through hell for your friends, your combat buddies, whatever, your shipmates. You would go to hell for your brother, your family. So I understand the gravity of that. Yeah, and I believe, and everybody else should believe, if you're familiar with Mike Cainrod, when he says the messages, the prayers mean a lot, they really do mean a lot to him. Yeah. So, well, outside of talking about the elephants in the room, you guys have we can do ask a pipe maker or ask a craftsman or whatever you want to topic it as. I don't care what you ask. I'll tell you what I think about it. But again, remember the caveat: my house, my rules. Has to remain respectful, whether you disagree or agree with me or anybody else in the chat. And be forewarned if you ask something and I have very distinct opinions or whatever on almost any topic. Whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know. It's just what I believe. So. The metal lathe is an $1,800 piece of shit, quite honestly. It can't part off, separate material. Wood, acrylic, ebonite it can, but metal it can't, which is one of the key functions of a metal lathe. Um, can't do boring operations where I machine a shank cap. It can't make that inner hole. It chatters like you wouldn't believe. And I've tightened everything down. I've checked, double checked, triple checked, quadruple checked everything. It's just ridiculous. The wood lathe is about $700, and then with the 26-inch extension bed here was a couple $100 more. So I mean, for the wood lathe now, and it's an induction motor, so it's brushless. And why anybody would buy difference between a brushless and a brushed motor with carbon contacts on armature in the copper windings is it has no horsepower until it's to full speed. Once you put a load on it, you can see the RPM drop. The wood lathe doesn't have that, so that it's brushless, and so it doesn't matter if you're running at 400 RPM or 4,000 RPM. It still has the same horsepower, so it's not going to be stopped by anything, by a load or drilling or something like that. So I'm very tempted to. I still have a couple months. I may return this late to Grizzly. They don't even offer it in their catalog anymore because it's so shitty. But I may return it. But I've already been through that 4 months, going through that, talking to quality control. I was like, well, why am I talking to quality control? That's something you should have done before you sold it to the public. So, but the problem with that is I have to clean it all up. I have to remount it in the case. that it came in the wooden case. I have to reassemble the wooden case, and it's then I have to impose on the neighbor again with his tractor to get it into the bucket of his tractor, so we can get it someplace that the truck driver can get it. Because if it's too far up, they can't make it up the hill. Or if the bed is too long on the, yeah, it's just nonsense. But for right now, it does what I need to do. I just can't machine shank caps or do any, or like the canes. I can't machine the metal ferrules and stuff. So I'm having to go from solid rod stock to tubing form. So instead of getting a pipe or a cane with the recessed shank face where there's metal under it instead of bare wood, I have to go to tube. So and even with the tube, I can face it, bore it out, clean it up so it fits, and then I have to start to part it off with the different cutting tool and then hacksaw it and then flip it around on an arbor and then face it off again to make sure everything's square to the center line. Yes. Give me 1 minute, guys. Geriatric moment. They got me on water pills for blood pressure. So. Okay, sorry about that, gentlemen. Yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, my back. I woke up the other morning, yesterday morning, with shooting pain in my shoulder, and they already told me all my joints are worn out. They told me that when I was in my 30s and 40s, but now just walking down the hill to the shop or to the mailbox, uphill's not a problem, but downhill, I can feel the pain in my knees. So next time I see the primary care, we're going to have a long talk, and it won't be long before the VA is paying me 100% disability. They've already acknowledged the neck injury in service, but they're not paying for me for that. They're paying me for the lower back injury, which was later at 60% disability. So, yeah, it doesn't help the joints at all. And my mind likes the cold better because I've spent so much time in service in hot environments, and then afterwards exporting cars, Vietnam, China, Philippines. You know, my mind prefers the cold, but my body's in disagreement with me. I'm thinking, Sacramento before I moved up here. it could hit 117, for days on end in the shade, 117. But I didn't feel the pain. Now it's getting colder, and especially with machinery not working. So, excuse me, had a lot of time to just lay around and go down, rabbit holes on YouTube and stuff. And so I mean, I'm out of shape. I've gained an inch and a half on my waist, but because I get bored and I start cooking. So, but, uh, yeah, it's what it is. Yeah, and I have just because of the soccer, they're running Boston Marathon levels, martial arts, the weightlifting, all that, and then the Navy, yeah, all that. Just pretty much everything they said would make you healthy has buggered me. Yeah, a lot of times I get lazy. I just go. I love black eyed peas, bacon, ham, whatever. Split pea, as a child, was one of my favorites, but a lot of times now I'm lazy and I've maybe gotten smarter. I buy the frozen black eyed peas that are already cooked, or I buy the canned black eyed peas and just, cook up some bacon, some Polish sausage or something like that, and, saute up a bunch of onion, garlic, black pepper, little Creole seasoning, or what was it, the Scotch bonnet, you know, lightly, and just enough spice where it sneaks up on you and makes you sweat. So, so instead of, 4 hours, to make a black eyed pea, I can do it in 30, 45 minutes. Yeah, I'm, yeah, they're already cooked. I mean, the ingredients are the same, they just cooked. Because typically with split peas or anything like that, you have to sift them, whatever. Take out the little pieces of stone or clay or soil. You know, and it's already done. So why not? My problem is I'm still in the habit of cooking for 5 people. Me, my wife, my twin daughters, and my mom, or whoever else might come by. And so then I end up eating leftovers for 3, 4 days. So when I first came up here, the neighbors invited me to dinner, and then several months ago, uh, he has fairly often, a couple times a month, he has his grandchildren come up, and they always want soupa Toscano soup, which is kale, Parmesan cheese, and some other things going on. And I stepfather was Italian. I've never heard of this before, probably because my stepfather was from northern Italy on the Swiss border, but loved it. And I took some food over to them that I cooked up, and he offered me some. I said, actually, I'm cooking right now, so, but I've taken them to dinner, supper a couple times, and I enjoyed it. I always order more than's needed because, like me, they eat like birds. I think last time I took them to pizza, ordered 2 separate pizzas because they like different things, large, and they had 2, 3 slices each. I told them take it home, and they refused, and so I ended up eating the remainder of the pizza for the next 3, 4 days. But food is something I don't care what it costs. I used to do this. You guys seen my post years ago with my buddy Craig, who died a couple years ago. But every month we would go out to supper, Vietnamese, Korean, Chinese, whatever restaurant, and that's something we went alcohol, something. I was like, okay, I'm cutting you off. It's on you now. But for food, I don't care how much it costs. If you're enjoying it, enjoy it. Yeah, I don't mind eating leftovers, but not for when it starts pushing past 3 days. I usually end up tossing it or putting it out for the somebody's cats because they'll eat it, But I get bored with it and I want to go on to the next culinary experience, if you will. Even though it's on my own culinary experience, but we'll see how it goes. We've been on, unlike Instagram, doesn't tell you how long you've been on. We've been on 37 minutes, so we'll go a little longer. See how it goes. But right about that time, we're gonna have to shut it down, and I gotta get some food in my belly, get warmed up. I got the heater running now. Got incense burning, and not this ceiling fan, but the dining room ceiling fan running because I don't like smoking in the house. But weather conditions aren't providing me options. So all this smoke you see drifting is because of the dining room ceiling fan. If you don't watch Instagram, watch every several times a week. I do a live on Instagram because Instagram changes policy from, we don't care how many subscribers you have. We're here for you. It's all about you too. If you don't have 1,000 subscribers, they won't let you do a live. So I do the lives fairly frequently on Instagram just so those guys that were shut down still have a voice. A shit shower and a shave, or shit, comma, shower and a shave. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Yusuf. I'm messing with you. Thank you, Yusuf. You be good. Have a great day. Hey, Troy. Not gonna be on a whole lot longer, Troy. And I know your time difference probably won't bother you, but probably be on in another 20 minutes or 30 minutes, maybe. Oh, lowercase, sir, Phil. Okay, I got you. Transportation, Roy. No problem. Appreciate it, Troy. Wish you would pop into the Instagram lives more frequently. I would like to meet Troy in person. Hey, Paul. Paul Johnson, is that formerly, or the person I know as Paul in the UK? Shut my ass, you are. So, oh, Cricket Liquor. Okay, gotcha. Welcome. I'm sure you do, Troy. I have no problem with it. So, uh, as the old saying goes, with friends like you, who needs enemas? Or my favorite is the honeymooners, or Ralph and Norton are on the train sharing a berthing compartment together. Norton says, "Hey, Ralph, you mind if I smoke?" Ralph says, "I don't care if you burn." I think that's the only one where I've ever seen Ralph ask, or you talk about smoking, period. I've been going down a rabbit hole of Dean Martin, the Dean Martin show from the 60s all the way through the 70s. Bob Newhart. And that leads into another rabbit hole of Carol Burnett show. Freaking Tim Conway. He would have them in stitches. They couldn't even maintain composure. Hey, Stovepipe. I'm seeing a lot of different names, and I'm assuming it's because of the YouTube nonsense. Oh, I got hiccups. I haven't watched the video yet, but I missed. I missed a few of. Uh, God dang it! I'm having a brain aneurysm. Chad Yardism's videos, but the one he did, he had the selfie in like a torn sweater, and I was like, that actually is quite a great photo of Chad. Yeah, yeah, and nobody ever knew what Conway was gonna do. He would just they would lose it. I'm turning into my grandfather. I listen to a lot of mood music at night just to clear the ringing tinnitus out of my head, tinnitus, if you will, out of my head. But one I'm a huge fan of is Jackie Gleason Presents. Not only was he a great comedian, actor, producer, but he also conducted orchestras. So they have this from the 50s to the 60s. Mm, I don't think quite into the 70s, but they had all these albums for lovers only or whatever. Jackie Gleason Presents, and those are beautiful. It's beautiful music, very well conducted. Yeah, a lot of times they would just turn away from the no, well, not necessarily from the audience, but the camera, and the audience got everything. The world's oldest fireman. You know? Or it says, doctor comes to see daddy, and Tim Conway falls down the stairs in slow motion. It takes like 4 minutes for him to fall down the stairs. just, just stupid funny. That's where I learned to do the Tarzan yell call, if whatever you want to call it, but was from Carol Burnett. Inevitably, at the end of the show, somebody would ask her to do the ah. Yeah, there was something Dean Martin, Jackie Gleason, Carol Burnett show. I mean, even laughing the Smothers Brothers. That there was class in the humor, in even if they, in their live performances, they may have been vulgar, but in the stuff for television, it was much more refined. And what made it humorous is the suggestion was there without saying it, and everybody was old enough to get it, and that's what made it funny. And unlike today where it's just everybody's trying to outdo everybody. How many times can you say the F word, or talk about a bit of the anatomy? Benny Hill was great. Old shows like the Black Adder, uh, Mr. Bean. Those are classic. That's what I call sophisticated humor. He didn't need the vulgarity, you know, the profanities to get your point across. Just a suggestion. That's sophisticated humor. The audience gets it and they create the image in their own mind. Yeah. I mean, Mr. Bean. I mean, and he's shaping up to be quite the dramatic actor, but up until this point with comedic, just the facial, he could make everybody get it, quote unquote, and bust into laughter just from the facial expressions. Everybody recognized it, as an instinctual reaction to something or thought. And that's quite a talent. Yeah, I would put Bean right up there with Jackie Gleason. I mean, I've watched in the last month or so. I've watched where Jackie Gleason crashed the what was it, the Academy Awards or something for Smoking and the Bandit while Burt Reynolds was on stage, and he walked in and interrupted it in character for the sheriff, uh, Buford T. Justice or whatever his name was, and said, "I'm gonna find you, you son of a bitch. I know you're out there." And he's standing behind him, but I hadn't. I did a live last night, so and then Hart, Peter. I mean, the usual suspects were there, but And then they shut me down for no reason. Somebody must have said a word that AI clicked on, and boom. So I restarted, and that one lasted a few minutes. And then I got a message from Adam asking if I was doing a live. I said, dude, I was on a live. They shut me down. I restarted, and then we ended it. So well, after we end this, I'll try a IG live, because I mean, for me, it's still early. Otherwise, I'll be sitting here in my room on the laptop going down a YouTube rabbit hole. I mean, during the day, I mean, I know a lot of you guys don't like my drinking or smoking cigarettes, whatever, as a pipe maker, but you'd be surprised how many pipe makers smoke cigarettes. And I don't drink when I'm working. This is better than tramadol or opiates. So when I'm done for the day, this is how I alleviate my pain. And then I go hang out with you guys, have a few beers, more than a few beers, get numb and dumb, eat some supper, and then go to bed so I can sleep without, you know, being in pain all night. No, no problem, Troy. I don't like the drinking so much. I mean, it's not making me happy. It's 90% for pain relief. So, is what it is. I mean, I'm sitting here. I've had 3 beers already, and my back is still killing me. But not today. We're still freaking doing it. Going back to that Jackie Gleason quote, where I don't care if you burn. I had thought of something else in the line of Jackie Gleason, but I'm not going to say it, Troy. Go ahead and enjoy your supper. I hope you don't choke. So, love you, brother. Just messing with you. So you have a my brother saw, and I'm assuming he's from the UK. He's an author, has 110, 112,000 followers, something. His wife is an artist. But my brother commented, he tagged me. He said, do you know this guy, Phil? And I said, no, because he was smoking a pipe. He said morning, and then said evening, this, and then or lunchtime this, and then evening this, cigar, whatever. But then the guy started following me, and so he hit me up and said, hey, you do great work. He commented, then he hit me up and said, hey, if you want to send me a pipe, I can do a review and maybe send you a few customers or something. And I said, I'm 16 plus years doing this. I'm not terribly worried about, new followers or customers. I said, but I'm busy with commission. Not exactly this verbiage, but there's some eyes. I'm busy with commissions right now, especially one commission. Thank you, Peter. But after that, I said I have no problem sending you a pipe. I like to put my pipes in people's hands, you know. And he wants to do oh, dang it, I lost the verbiage. Um, uh, not commiserate. Where you two people work together on an idea. God dang it! Why can't I remember the English word for that? Anyway, so I said, so at some point, and the pipe I saw him smoking was a full bent, so I'm sure it's gonna be like a Peterson 3/4 full bent, but we're not gonna do it that way. We're gonna do it my way. So actually, I would prefer just to send him one and say, here, there's no obligation, there's no nothing, and do it my way, and uh, maybe give him a different smoking experience. And, my thinking is just make him a love it, because the love it, despite all the other shapes, I think the love it is the classiest shape. It's underspoken. It's not too long. It's not too big. It doesn't hang down too far. It's just a distinguished shape. Hey, Chad. Collaboration. Yes. Thank you, Chad. I knew Chad was in here, and he doesn't say anything until I can't think. So, I haven't watched the video yet, Chad, but the one where you were in the sweater, leaning over like this, and had holes in it. That is a great photo. I love that photo. I don't know why, but I love that photo. Yeah, collaboration, not to be confused with cohabitation. So I have one more, and when we finish this, I am done here. I might start an IG live because Al wasn't able to pop in the other night. So and Cloudy missed it. I don't know. He was in a meeting or something, but we'll start an IG live. RG live. Felt Python esque. Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite albums, one of my favorite groups was Erasure back in the day. And the last album that I absolutely loved was, uh, what was it? Erasure esque. No, no, not ABBA esque by Erasure. But my brother is in Pennsylvania now, and he likes Erasure as well. But he said, I'm not spending $120 and plus train fare to go watch some guy sing a song in a skirt. I'm like, yeah, I gotcha, you know. But this were songs, music back in the day when we were in the military that kept us rolling. Yeah. Well, most of my humor is some kind of combination of Monty Python, Benny Hill, Three Stooges in black and white. Yeah, even Benny Hill in black and white. Um, Carol Burnett, Dean Martin. I mean, all those you name them. That's kind of my humor line. I haven't forgotten. I was actually on Instagram the other day, Chad, and was a week or so ago. Said I hadn't forgotten. I still have to. My intent is to send you a four-string CBG guitar kit that you and your son can build together. If you want to put, reverb or and as I was actually looking at well, what do they call it when they put the pipe and plate or whatever on it, like a steel guitar, not quite, but has that sound. So I was looking at different kits. I still have to send you that, and I still have to make a watch for Briar Blues. I mean, a field watch for Briar Blues. And it's not going to be an automatic movement. It'll probably be a quartz movement just because it's more serviceable, more readily serviceable, self serviceable, if you will. Resonator, yes. And I've made some in the past. I don't know if you saw my video more than a decade ago. I made one, a four string, for my nephew. And said he was going to keep it forever. And now I have no idea. Now he's a sous chef. So I have no idea where that's at. But I remember drilling and screwing in the frets, tensioning screws. You have to follow the instructions, and because those little brass screws snap off like you wouldn't believe. But it's I can send you the kit, and it's fairly easy to I can send you a stainless steel or whatever, a hubcap or whatever that'll fit on there, and you do your own thing. It's up to you to make the bridge, make the resonator, and if you want to install electronics in it, I mean that's fairly simple. But I haven't forgotten. I say these things. It's just last few years have been challenging. I want to. I mean, I've got one pipe available. Granted, it's not cheap, but materials and utilities aren't cheap anymore. But it's what it is. It hasn't moved. I'm thinking about reducing it, but I've done that in the past with the FDA regulations. I actually was contemplating quitting, but I was like, no, fucking come and get me. And I've reduced prices in the past, but the problem is once you start reducing prices, everybody wants a pipe at that price, and that takes a long time to recover from. I don't care who you are, So, but I may reduce it for a little time, for a short time, from $3.95 to $3.25, and if it doesn't sell, in a certain period of time, it's going to get listed at Etsy at the full price, which I avoid Etsy. I haven't posted anything on Etsy in a couple years. But if I do post on Etsy, what I tell everybody, if you see it, shoot me a private message. If you're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, shoot me a private message. My email link is there. I'll pull the listing. I've already paid for their listing, so they still get their money. But problem with Etsy, because it's a UK based, if I include shipping or I add shipping, doesn't matter. They take a percentage from the shipping also, which in the US is actually illegal. It's like going to the Chinese grocery store and they sell stamps. 25-cent stamp, they charge you 27 cents or 30 cents. That you can't do that. Damn is it? We're a little over, so I am going to end this now, gentlemen. I appreciate you being in here. Remember, if you can't be good, be great. Can't be great, be freaking awesome. Anyway, I'll start an Instagram live here shortly. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Hope you're all well. Happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas. I'm sure I'll see you before Christmas and New Year's, but take care, guys. Thank you, gentlemen. Good night. I salute you.